Have you ever heard of the trick where you cook salmon in the dishwasher?
I've heard of it, but I've never tried it. I think because I don't want my dishwasher to smell like salmon.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, one wouldn't try it. But but Mickey's told me about it, and then I saw it on an episode of Abbott Elementary, and I was like, "Oh, that's what you." And I was like, he felt very validated in that moment.
It feels like you're taking a giant apparatus that uses a ton of energy to cook a tiny little, or do you do it like while you're doing your normal look?
I think it's a standalone item in the dishwasher, dude. This is The Naturalist. In every episode, we're covering the products, ideas, and trends that are shaping the CPG industry.
Or that we just really like.
Critical.
Okay, are we supposed to be talking about? Oh,
I do want to give my nail polish update because
beautiful.
Well, don't go too close there.
I can't see that up close.
So, perfect. So I tried that Ella and Mila company,
nice.
and I just went for it because it was another 17 free, which we talked about last time with Mineral Fusion. And that Mineral Fusion was like the bomb. And that stayed on my fingers, no chipping or anything for like a week.
And I said you got that at Sprouts?
Got it at Sprouts.
Ellen and I looked for it and you didn't find it, but we didn't look at Sprouts.
Oh, I did 1 or 2 coats, no top coat, and it was great. Ella and Mila, different experience. Put on one color and it was so sheer, like you couldn't see the pigment at all. Then I put on this color, and obviously it has a nice, like, rich color to it, but it has chipped after 2 days.
Do you think it's user error? I'm just like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt with their brand.
It could be, but I did do 2 coats and a top coat. So I'm going to give it another shot. I want to try it again. But obviously 17 free, they've removed a lot of chemicals that may make it kind of more durable.
Well, I would let's do it like a restaurant critic. Like try it 5 times, different shades.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Then we'll make our final conclusion.
Do restaurant critics go to the restaurant 5 times?
Well, have you ever read, there's this great book from Ruth Reichel, who I adore.
I do too.
And it's called Garlic and Sapphire. And it's about when she became the New York Times restaurant critic. She would go 5 times to every restaurant and she would wear different disguises. And I think that's so great because how do you make or break a restaurant's future without really giving it a fair shot? And as a former restaurant owner, I can tell you things happen.
But I like that you're applying that mentality to the products that we try, and especially like a beauty product, a personal care product, my nail polish. So I am going to give it another shot. Okay, so we had our trends episode a couple weeks ago. If you did not check out the trends episode, please do. It always is one of my favorites. So much fun to record. And then we have gotten a lot of really fun feedback on what people are saying. So if you have a trend that we missed, please let us know. We want to hear what's on your mind, what you're checking out. But one of the trends in there was about frozen dairy. Yeah. And then we've been having lots of dairy talk around
so
here.
Much
the new
talk.
Coffee talk, dairy talk, right? And the category is just like booming right now. I think it was the second fastest growing. Second, we always talk about how do you fastest, most growth.
Ranks second in terms of growth.
There you go.
Second largest growth.
Yes.
In 2024 and 2025, it's on track for that as well.
So it wasn't just a single year thing. Although one thing that we are looking at is egg prices and how egg prices have contributed to overall sales and percentage growth and all that. But regardless, there's still a lot of innovation and interesting things happening in dairy. You're going to be talking about dairy coming up pretty soon at Nutrition Capital Network's fall meeting, which is happening in early November as one of the trends. But through that, Mike Dovbish, who's the executive director, stay with me, people. Stay with me. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. Mike Dovbish, executive director of NCN, wrote a column that's on newhope.com that's about dairy as it relates to investor interest and investments in the space. Because obviously, when you're seeing growth like this, you know that there's going to be some capital flowing in. And what I think is really cool about the dairy space overall is you see a lot of these regenerative companies that are really investing, and either they're fully in regenerative or they're transitioning to regenerative farms farms and how they are developing these dairy products is really sustainable. But then you also have these like up and comers that are just doing fun things around flavors and formats and styles and all that. So you see a lot of things happening and quite a few notable investments. So you wanted to talk about some of those and really like dig into the category.
Yeah, and I think what you said about regenerative agriculture is so key here. Now, this is one of those things that's really fueling growth in these companies. And it's not just, I mean, a lot of these brands that have gotten investment are using that money to convert land, to convert soil, to help convert to regenerative agriculture. So I think that that's really the key factor here. And how cool is that?
Yes, very cool.
Yeah.
Cool up there on the
Really cool
meter. Okay, so 15%. So dairy, NBJ is predicting that dairy will account for about 15% of total natural and organic product industry sales this year. That's a lot of sales. And some of the big deals that are kind of fueling some of that momentum, Chobani. That was an interesting one because Chobani kind of started it all. What do you think about Greek yogurt and companies that have gotten consumers really aware of the benefits of dairy and yogurt? They got a $600 million investment.
Just drop in the bucket.
But I love to see that company continuing to be stewards in the category and get investment. So it's not just for the newcomers. And then I think it was last year in July, was Strauss family Creamery got a pretty significant investment from a San Francisco firm, Grounded Capital. And so Strauss is another great company.
And don't you love to see those long-standing brands, especially, a brand like Strauss that just is always one step ahead with its sustainability platforms and all of its commitment to, regenerative farming, sustainability. I'd love to see those brands getting that capital.
Yeah.
Premier Research Labs, PRL, founded in 1987 by visionaries Dr. Robert Marshall and Dr. Linda Forbes, is a trailblazer in professional-grade nutritional supplements, driven by purity, fueled by innovation, and unwavering in its commitment to uncompromising quality. Born from the conviction that not all supplements are created equal, PRL redefined the industry with excipient-free, 100% plant-based formulas, solvent-free capsules, and extraordinary manufacturing practices that honor the body and the earth. With rigorous orthogonal and energetic testing, rejecting over 70% of raw materials that did not meet our exacting standards, PRL sets a premier benchmark for safety, potency, and trust. Guided by our mission to transform global wellness and anchored in the core values of transformation, extraordinary, and community, PRL empowers practitioners, patients, and conscious consumers to pursue optimal vitality, continuing to inspire a healthier, more connected world for today and for generations to come.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what you said earlier of like really putting that towards sustainability. So Strauss said it collaborates with it works with various organic dairy farms and is trying to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. So you have to believe that a lot of that investment that they received is going towards helping them achieve that goal as opposed to just product innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to just interject here. You had mentioned growth in dairy. We have some NBJ projections that go up to 2029.
Okay.
And actually dairy is still, right around that second spot in terms of ranking, in terms of growth. Right around. It's kind of almost tied with beverages, but right there in that second spot. So I think that that's really interesting that it's not just now, but the dairy is projected to continue its growth trajectory.
Yeah, no, that is an important note, especially when we were talking about some of those like unusual things happening around egg prices and some of those. So this wasn't like an outlier year last year or this year, but to see that sustained momentum is really important. So I'm glad you searched through all those files.
I can do
while I was talking and you weren't listening to me. I'm glad you did because that data point was important. Okay, any others? Painterland.
Yes.
Painterland Sisters, they were a Pitch Slam winner 2 years ago, I think.
And they've won a
West.
Nexty before as well. Great brand.
Yeah, and so it's two sisters who, Stephanie and Haley Painter, they're fourth generation farmers, so they very much walk the talk, and we love to see that. But their yogurt has gotten a lot of attention, I think, because of the founder stories for sure, but then also just how they're developing a product that differentiates itself in a pretty crowded market with a lot of these established players that have been well known for a long time. They're standing out and retailers love them.
Yeah, and what I love about Painterland too is that they're standing out for the quality of their product, for their regenerative agriculture, for the family farm, like you said, for their storytelling. But we're not looking at these tremendously like innovative flavor profiles. I mean, it's vanilla bean, it's Greek yogurt, it's skyr. And I love that. I love that they're taking basics and doing them just really well, and that sustainability and their story is what's being uplifted, and that's what's driving sales as opposed to it's a matcha ube pumpkin spice
favorite. My favorite.
Nothing wrong with that.
I agree with you, and we do see that some of the other dairy products we talked about, particularly in the frozen dairy space, do show a little bit more of that innovation in terms of flavors, and that is cool too. I especially love the infusion of the international flavors, a lot of global influence, but it is nice to see just like the basics done.
Well, this is
better.
yogurt.
This is yogurt. I have yogurt every morning. Because I think it's the best way to get protein in just like a real food source, and it's easy. Like my mom was just saying, I hope you're eating a good breakfast every day, because I'm not normally a breakfast person. I'm like, yes, Mom, I'm eating my yogurt with my walnuts and my banana every day. But that's another big thing that's happening that's driving interest in dairy, is that people are waking up to the importance of protein, and it's a little overdone now, as we've talked about with protein Pop-Tarts and the works. But people are talking about protein, realizing they need to get some. And one thing that's not going to go out of style is getting it from good, clean sources, which if you're getting a quality yogurt and dairy product, absolutely can be. So anyways, I love it. Also with conversations like nationwide still going around GLP-1s and people looking for other sources of protein because of that. So there's a lot happening there. But ice cream, let's just talk about ice cream for a second.
I could always talk about ice cream.
And Alec's in particular.
Yeah.
So
Alec's Ice Cream, this is such a great brand. I think they're based in Petaluma, California.
Yes.
And they are regenerative, organic, A2 dairy. So it's got the gut health, the sustainability, the just great product. And, I remember when they first launched and they nominated for Next Award, they've won and had multiple finalists.
Yes.
If not multiple Next
Because we would take one bite and be like, okay,
we're done. We're out.
Here.
When Alex first launched, I remember one of the things that we loved about the brand is that they didn't launch with ROC certification, but they launched and they told their story saying, this is our goal. This is what we want to do. We're working with these local dairy farms, and our goal is to have this, and we're trying. And I remember being so captivated by their vulnerability, their willingness to share their goals and their story and what their journey was to get to that point. And now they're at that point, and it couldn't be a more integrity-filled and delicious brand.
Oh, I love how you described that, because it's so true. I mean, their journey and being so transparent every step of the way. And I think companies in the dairy space have a really unique opportunity to do that, because often they are, like we've talked about, transitioning their farms or working with other dairies and smaller dairy producers across the country. And so to have those types of goals and transparency and then deliver, and they're just so much fun. There was that product that was circulating in our chat, the Palm Springs.
Oh, the banana Palm Springs date
shake. Yeah, because Palm Springs has these date shakes that they're really known for in the area that I've always wanted to try. But they have fun with their ingredients, and they do cool partnerships, which is another thing we're seeing from some of these companies, is partnering with others.
Alexander Family Farms or other dairy brands.
Right, which I really, really love and appreciate.
Yeah, so I don't even think we said it, but Alex recently raised $11 million in its Series A.
We did not say it.
Yeah, so
Let it be said.
Let it be said.
So great job to Mike putting this all together. And Adrienne, you'll be bringing it to life on stage as one of several trends. Again, check out our trends episode if you have not heard that. And yeah, this is fun. We'll have to do a tasting next time.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could get away with doing an ice cream tasting on stage at NCN.
You can get away with anything.